What Surah Al Fatiha teaches us. Surah Al Fatiha is the opening chapter of the Quran and is considered to be one of the most important chapters in the Islamic faith. It is a prayer that we recite multiple times a day in their daily prayers, and it teaches several important lessons. Here are a few. The oneness of Allah. The surah begins by acknowledging the greatness and the oneness of Allah. It reminds us that Allah is the Lord of the worlds and that we should worship Him alone. The importance of seeking guidance. The surah then teaches us to seek guidance from Allah. It tells us that He is the only one who can guide us on the right path and that we should ask for His help in all matters. The role of prophets. The surah mentions the prophets who were sent by Allah to guide humanity. It emphasizes the importance of following their example and teachings. The importance of gratitude. The surah reminds us to be grateful to Allah for all His blessings. It encourages us to acknowledge His generosity and mercy in our daily lives. The power of prayer. The surah ends by asking Allah for His help and guidance. It emphasizes the importance of prayer as a means of communicating with Allah and seeking His assistance. Overall, Surah Al Fatiha teaches us important lessons about the oneness of Allah, seeking guidance, following the example of the prophets, gratitude, and the power of prayer. Surah Al Fatiha. The word Al Fatiha is an Arabic term that can be translated as the opening or the opener. This term refers to the fact that this surah is the opening chapter of the Quran and it is recited at the beginning of each unit of prayer. In a broader sense, the term Al Fatiha can also be interpreted as the opening of the heart and mind to the teachings of the Quran. This surah serves as an introduction to the key themes and concepts of Islam, such as the oneness of Allah, the importance of seeking guidance, the role of prophets, and the power of prayer. Furthermore, the surah is also seen as a gateway to the rest of the Quran, as it provides a framework for understanding and approaching the rest of the divine revelation. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. This phrase "in the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful" is known as the Basmalah, and it is recited at the beginning of most chapters of the Quran and before undertaking any action in Islamic tradition. It is a way of invoking the name of Allah and seeking His blessings and protection. The phrase contains two of the most important attributes of Allah, which are His mercy and compassion. Entirely merciful, Ar-Rahman / emphasizes that Allah's mercy is vast and all-encompassing, and it is extended to all of His creation, regardless of their actions or beliefs. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, Ar-Rahim / highlights Allah's specific mercy and compassion towards those who believe in Him and follow His guidance. By reciting the Basmalah, Muslims are reminded of Allah's merciful nature and are encouraged to seek His guidance and blessings in all their actions. It also serves as a way to start any task with a reminder of the importance of connecting with Allah and seeking His help and support in all aspects of life. All praise is only Allah's, the Lord of the worlds. The phrase "all praise is only Allah's, the Lord of the worlds" is the first verse of Surah Al Fatiha. This verse acknowledges and affirms Allah's absolute sovereignty and greatness over all of creation. The phrase "all praise is only Allah's" means that all praise, gratitude, and thanks are due to Allah alone. It emphasizes that Allah is the only one deserving of praise and that all goodness, blessings, and favors come from Him. The phrase "the Lord of the worlds" further emphasizes Allah's supremacy and dominion over all creation. It means that Allah is the creator, sustainer, and master of the entire universe, including everything in the heavens and the earth, visible or invisible, animate or inanimate. He is the ultimate source of all power, wisdom, and authority, and He alone deserves to be worshipped and obeyed. Thus, this verse is a declaration of faith and submission to Allah, recognizing and affirming His absolute sovereignty and greatness. It sets the tone for the rest of Surah Al Fatiha, which teaches us important lessons about the oneness of Allah, seeking guidance, following the example of the prophets, gratitude, and the power of prayer. The Beneficent, the Merciful. The Beneficent, the Merciful is a phrase that is often associated with Allah in Islamic tradition. It is known as Asma'ul Husna, which means the most beautiful names of Allah, and it refers to the various attributes or names that are used to describe Allah in the Quran and Islamic tradition. The Beneficent, the Merciful, Ar-Rahim in Arabic / highlights Allah's specific mercy and compassion towards those who believe in Him and follow His guidance. It refers to His continuous and abundant mercy that is available to the who strive to live a righteous life according to His teachings. By invoking these attributes of Allah, we are reminded of His benevolent ard and mercy towards them. It encourages them to seek His forgiveness, guidance, and blessings in all their actions and to reflect on His greatness and kindness towards them. It also instills a sense of hope and comfort in their hearts, knowing that Allah's mercy is all-encompassing, singing that He is always willing to forgive and guide those who seek His help. Master of the Day of Judgment. It is a declaration of faith in Allah's ultimate sovereignty and power over the Day of Judgment, which is the day when all human beings will be held accountable for their actions and their ultimate fate will be determined. The phrase Master of the Day of Judgment, Arabic, Malik Yawm Adin, highlights that Allah is the ultimate ruler and judge on the Day of Judgment, emphasizes that He is the one who will judge each individual based on their actions and beliefs, and that His judgment will be fair, just, and final. The Day of Judgment is a fundamental belief in Islam, and we believe that it is a day of great importance and significance. On that day, all human beings will be resurrected from their graves and will stand before Allah to account for their deeds in the world. Those who have done good deeds and followed Allah's guidance will be rewarded with eternal paradise, while those who have disobeyed Allah and committed evil deeds will be punished with eternal hellfire. Therefore, acknowledging Allah as the Master of the Day of Judgment reminds Muslims of the importance of living a righteous life and following Allah's guidance. It encourages them to strive for good deeds and to be mindful of their actions, knowing that they will be held accountable on the Day of Judgment. Judgment also instills a sense of hope and comfort in their hearts, knowing that Allah is the ultimate judge and that His judgment will be fair and just. Thee, alone, do we worship, and of Thee, only, do we seek help. This verse expresses the central principle of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, and the relationship between Allah and His creation. The phrase Thee, alone, do we worship, Arabic, Iyyaka na'budu, affirms that worship is due to Allah alone. It means that all acts of worship, such as prayer, fasting, charity, and pilgrimage, should be directed only to Allah and for His sake. This phrase emphasizes the importance of directing all forms of worship to Allah alone, as opposed to directing it toward any other entity or individual. The phrase of Thee, only, do we seek Nistat in Arabic, Iyyaka nasta'in, highlights the fact that all human beings are in constant need of Allah's help and support. It means that we should seek Allah's help in all aspects of our lives, whether it is in our personal or professional lives, in our spiritual or material pursuits. This phrase emphasizes that Allah is the only true source of help and support, and that we should rely on Him alone in times of need. Together, these two phrases express the core of Islamic faith in the relationship between Allah and His creation. They emphasize the importance of acknowledging Allah's sovereignty and submitting to His will, while also recognizing our dependence on Him for help and support. By constantly turning to Allah for help and guidance, Muslims are reminded of their humility and reliance on Allah, and are encouraged to strive towards pleasing Him in all aspects of their lives. Guide us, O Lord, on the straight path. This verse expresses a sincere and humble request to Allah for guidance and help in following the right path. The phrase Guide us, O Lord, Arabic, Idina, is a supplication that expresses a deep desire for Allah's guidance and help in every aspect of life. It acknowledges that human beings are fallible and in constant need of guidance and support from Allah. The phrase on the straight path, Arabic, Surat al-Mustaqim, refers to the path of righteousness and obedience to Allah's commands. It is the path that leads to eternal success and salvation, and it is the path that all believers strive to follow. Therefore, this phrase emphasizes the importance of seeking Allah's guidance and help in following the right path. It reminds Muslims that they are in constant need of guidance from Allah and that they should constantly seek His help and support in all aspects of their lives. Moreover, this phrase also teaches Muslims to rely on Allah's guidance and follow their desires or the desires of others. It reminds them to stay on the path of righteousness, which is the path that leads to Allah's pleasure and forgiveness. The path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed Thy bounties, not the path of those inflicted with Thy wrath, nor of those gone astray, is the final phrase of Surah Al Fatiha. It is a prayer and a plea to Allah for guidance to follow the path of righteousness and avoid the path of misguidance and punishment. The phrase "the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy bounties," Arabic, Surat al-Ladina An'amta alayhim, refers to the path of those who have been blessed by Allah with His guidance and mercy. These are the people who have been chosen by Allah and have received His blessings and favors. They are the prophets, the righteous, and the believers who have followed the straight path and have been rewarded by Allah. The phrase "not, the path, of those inflicted with Arabic, Ga'ir al-Maghrib alayhim," refers to the path of those who have earned Allah's anger and punishment. These are the people who have gone astray and disobeyed Allah's commands. They are the disbelievers, the hypocrites, and the transgressors who have earned Allah's wrath and punishment. The phrase "nor, of those, gone astray," Arabic, ad-dalan, refers to the path of those who have gone astray from the right path, but not necessarily to the point of earning Allah's wrath and punishment. These are the people who are lost and confused and have strayed from the straight path due to their ignorance or negligence. Therefore, this phrase emphasizes the importance of seeking Allah's guidance and help in following the path of righteousness. It reminds Muslims that they should strive to follow the path of those who have been blessed by Allah and avoid the path of those who have earned His anger and punishment. It also teaches Muslims to avoid straying from the straight path and to seek Allah's guidance to remain on the right path. Summary: the surah begins with the statement of Allah's greatness and mercy, followed by a declaration of faith and reliance on Allah. It then praises Allah as the Lord of the worlds and seeks guidance on the straight path. The surah concludes with a prayer for guidance and help to follow the path of those whom Allah has blessed and avoid the path of those who have earned His anger and punishment. Surah Al Fatiha is a supplication and a plea for guidance, emphasizing the importance of reliance on Allah and seeking His help to remain on the path of righteousness. It sets the tone for the entire Quran and is a reminder of the importance of seeking Allah's guidance in every aspect of life.